cautiously approaching a tiny 3-acre island was little more than a mutter within the pulse of the incoming tide that splashed and gurgled ceaselessly against the sharp stones, the dying result of a windy rainstorm that had swept through the area the previous evening. In the northern reaches of Frederick Sound, midway in the Alaskan length of the Inside Passage, the island was the largest of 5 narrow ridges of jagged rock that had come to be known as the 5 Fingers, for seamen contended that they resembled a grasping hand. 4 of these barely broke the surface, but the 5th and largest was unique for rising some 50 feet at its highest point above the salt waters of the Sound, and for the lighthouse that had been placed there and operated for just over 100 years, specifically as a warning for mariners to navigate further to the west and avoid the risk of foundering upon the lurking, treacherous fingers that were well and dangerously concealed at high tides, in darkness or rough weather. The growling power boat approached gingerly and without running lights, the operator well aware that, without an available dock or landing, caution must be taken to avoid being caught by the surf and bashing the hull against the ragged, natural stone ramp rising up from the sea to the level of a wide concrete platform below the lighthouse. Between this rough ramp and a support wall below the platform lay a narrow but deep cove that provided partial protection from the insistent waves. With its 2 heavy mercury outboard engines off the transom, the operator carefully maneuvered the 26-foot Kingfisher into this semi-protected space, close enough so that a second figure could hop off and help to rig a pair of opposing lines that would hold the craft off both the rocks and the wall, but close enough for unloading their small but valuable amount of cargo. High over their heads, in the cupola of the tower, the automatic solar-powered light revolved steadily, sweeping the line of its powerful beam across the underside of a low hanging layer of cloud that threatened more rain and reflected just enough light to make the area visible to eyes already accustomed to the dark. It would probably rain again, but the accompanying wind had died, and the waters of the Sound calmed their thrashing to mild whitecaps and lacy foam. Tied off safely with 2 lines, the operator cut the engines and stepped out onto the aft deck, opened a hatch, and removed 2 carefully waterproofed packages about 18 inches square. "You sure there's no one here?" "Yeah, sure. They won't show till around noon next Sunday." "It better be like you say. I'm not up for any surprises on this one." "It's fine. We've got plenty of time to stash this stuff and head for Petersburg. They'll never know we were here. It's like I told you. Perfect cover." "It better be. Here, take this. I'll bring the other one." "Bring a flashlight. We'll need it." "No inside lights?" "Not unless we start a generator, and we don't want to do that, do we?" Each warily carrying one of the packages, the 2 figures, one shorter and huskier than the other, but both mere shadows in the dark, carefully climbed the uneven, slippery stones of the ramp to the platform and crossed to a pair of double doors that led into the lower floor beneath the lighthouse that towered over them. "Got the key?" Balancing the package on one arm to free a hand to dig into a jacket pocket, the answer came with a nod. "Yeah, same one I used last time I was here." "Hey, be careful you don't drop that. Just open the damn door. Let's get this done and be gone." Swinging the doors wide, the pair vanished into the blackness of the basement, returning empty-handed in a few minutes to lock the door behind them. In less than 10 minutes they were gone, and the island once again left to the enduring isolation of its automated duty. Far across the wide waters of Frederick Sound, the pilot of a fishing boat took comfort in recognizing the familiar beam and in knowing that he was finally nearing his home port, little more than an hour south. Briefly he wondered about the people from Juneau, who now owned 5 Finger Light, and the whale-watching station that, rumor had it, they intended to locate there. Shrugging, he took another swig of rapidly cooling coffee and focused on achieving the most direct route across the Sound to Petersburg. Chapter 2. Early on Monday morning, in mid-September, Without opening her eyes, Jessie Arnold rolled over in her big brass bed, pulled the quilt down far enough to uncover her face, and took a deep, inquisitive breath. The scent of freshly brewed coffee that had wafted enticingly up from downstairs filled her nose, mixed with that of bacon frying and a hint of toast. Yawning, she tossed back the quilt, sat up, and swung her feet over the edge of the bed, feeling for her slippers. Not finding them, she peered over the edge of the mattress and spotted them a foot or two away, where she had kicked them off the night before. Scuffing them on, she slipped a robe over the pajama bottoms and green T-shirt in which she had slept, and left the bedroom, headed soft-footed for the stairs. Halfway down, she was able to see Alex Jensen busily cooking breakfast in the kitchen of her new log cabin. He was humming softly to himself as he removed the bacon from the pan to a paper towel before draining the grease and turning to stir a bowl of eggs for scrambling, unaware of her presence until she spoke. "You're up early, trooper. Can't wait to get back to catching bad guys." He turned with a smile. "Hey there, Sleepy. You want eggs?" "If you're cooking, you bet." Jensen added 2 eggs to the bowl, stirred and emptied it into the pan. As the eggs sizzled invitingly, Jessie made a quick dash into his work area to pour a mug of coffee and snitch a crispy strip of bacon from the pile on the towel. Knowing that the kitchen could be a hazard zone, as long-armed Alex tended to unexpectedly reach out for things without looking as he cooked and was currently waving a fork, she retreated to the safety of the table to watch and enjoy the fact that someone other than herself was playing chef. Both hands around her steaming mug, she wrinkled her nose at the aroma and savored not only the brew, but also having Alex back in her kitchen, as well as her bed. The months he had been gone from Alaska now seemed dull and ephemeral, as if his return had brightened her world and let her see everything with new eyes after a stretch of bad weather. It was a sunny morning, and a glance out the window brought a smile of appreciation to her face at the glorious September gold of the birches that surrounded her cabin and dog-yard. As she watched, a breath of breeze brought a few more leaves fluttering down to litter the ground beneath, and she knew that, once again, there would soon be only bare limbs against the sky. Turning back, she found Alex, careless of the eggs sizzling in the pan, leaning against the kitchen counter with a smile of his own at her admiration of the fall's generosity. "Your favorite season," he said. "It'll be your birthday in another month." "It will," she agreed, "but I won't remind you that you still owe me an earring to replace the one I lost somewhere in the brush on Nika Island." "So I do. I'll have to consider that." Refilling his own coffee mug, Alex brought 2 full plates to the table and, settling in a chair beside her, moved the butter and jam so they both could reach them. "Mmm," Jessie said, when she had made a significant inroad on the food on her plate. "It's nice to have someone else in the kitchen for a change. May I expect you to continue to spoil me rotten?" "We'll see how you appreciate it," he answered with a hint of a leer, wiping strawberry jam from one side of his luxurious handlebar mustache with a paper napkin. "What's up for you today?" "Well," Jessie frowned and hesitated, considering. "I'm not sure. It's a pain not to be able to run the mutts, but there's always cleanup that wants doing in the dog-yard. You?" Jensen pursed his lips and wrinkled his brow, miming deliberation. "What? You've got something in mind, yes?" Mischievously, he forced her to wait as he slowly chewed and swallowed another mouthful of eggs and toast before he answered with a grin. "Well, if you haven't anything pressing on your dance card for the next few days, maybe you'd consider driving to Dawson with me to visit Del and Claire Delafosse." RCMP Inspector Charles Del Delafosse and his wife Claire were friends they met when he and Alex had worked a case together in Dawson City several years before. They had also helped Jessie when she was involved in delivering a ransom demanded for the release of an abducted musher during the Yukon Quest sled dog race. At Alex's suggestion of a visit, the impatience on Jessie's face